Organization today. We see it as a positive moment towards a comprehensive resolution of various issues regarding North Korea. Also, we express praise for South Korea's effort to realize this meeting. We strongly hope North Korea will take specific action following this meeting and the U.S. and North Korea summit. We will continue to monitor the movement of North Korea.
And this was the U.S. President on Twitter. After a furious year of missile launches and nuclear testing, a historic meeting between North and South Korea is now taking place. Good things are happening, but only time will tell. Well, the North Korean leader, we understand, now back in Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea. With me in the studio, Dermot Hudson, the head of the Korean Friendship Association. You've been to North Korea 14 times.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, Kim Jong-un, several months ago, was threatening to bomb Japan. South Korea said he could aim missiles at the United States. So what has brought him to this position now?
Well, first of all, he wasn't actually threatening South Korea. The DPRK has always made it clear that its weapons are self-defense. If they're not aimed at South Korea, they're aimed at the US. But what's happened is he's implementing the decisions of the 7th Congress of the Workers' Party of Korea in May 2016, and what he said in his New Year address.
But what you've got to understand is it wasn't so very long ago that he was making belligerent noises, and now he's saying, listen, I'm a man of peace. Why?
These were a response to the US threats against
I know you believe
DPRK.
that, but I'm wondering why he's saying what he's saying now.
Well, because he's a man of peace. He doesn't want the Korean Peninsula to be the centre of a Third World War.
In what sense is he a man of peace? In other words, why should we perhaps trust him when we know that he's had opponents liquidated, members of his own family, that there are accusations that his half-brother was killed on his orders, that people have disappeared, been blown apart by artillery guns. This is not a picture of a man of peace, so why should we believe him?
Well, I mean, this, what you've just said, is false propaganda, and as you used the word accusation.
How do you know that?
But you yourself used the word accusation.
But you'll be going further. You're saying it's false propaganda. How do you know that?
Well, I think what you see taking place now disproves this false image that has been built up.
Do you think perhaps you and other people who have supported this regime, this family dynasty, for so long are perhaps being taken in as well as the rest of us?
No. Absolutely not. And it's not a family dynasty, it's a leadership that's chosen by the people. Like I said, 2 years ago you had the 7th Congress of the Workers' Party of Korea, which
well, it's not really chosen by the people, is it?
As,
you know, there have only been 3 leaders or 4 leaders of the North since it existed. They're all from the same family. And there's no real opposition. Well, there's no opposition to them.
Well, I mean, you could, you know, in India.
No, but you said it's been chosen. You said it's been chosen.
Family for a long time.
Chosen by themselves.
That's right. I mean, if you go to the DPRK, everybody supports the leadership.
See, the suggestion is that he's been pushed into this position, perhaps by sanctions. You're suggesting the opposite, that he's a man who comes bearing olive branches, that he's always wanted peace, and that the sanctions have made no difference. But he's perhaps in a position of weakness, is he not?
Well, the sanctions haven't made any difference. I mean, when I was in Pyongyang in April 2017, August 2017, you know, we saw Pyongyang, we thought sanctions. What sanctions? We couldn't see any evidence on the streets or in the shops the sanctions were having any impact.
But that's because you weren't shown where they were having an impact, perhaps. You were just shown the things they wanted you to see.
Well, I mean, you know, people always say that. But if the sanctions were having such an effect, you know, that it was changing the DPRK's policies, you know, you would see some kind of evidence. They wouldn't be able to hide such a thing.
Do you think, this has got to be quick, that he will give up the North's nuclear weapons without preconditions, that American soldiers don't have to leave and that other suspected nukes in the area can stay. He's not going to say, these are my conditions.
Well, what has been agreed to is the denuclearisation of the Korean Peninsula. That means also US weapons, nuclear weapons,
well,
leaving the Korean Peninsula.
Yes, he did say before that that wasn't a condition, but we will see.
That's what the two leaders have agreed.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Now to other news.